2 more classes. That means Tuesday, Wednesday, and next Thursday will therefore be the test. The test. There are no verses on the test. There's some Sanskrit words. You're required to know a lot of different angas and things like that. It's a very what is it? It's very I don't know what the right word is. It's a lot of there's information. It's on the surface level, not deep understanding, but you're required to know a lot of the information. What? Theoretical. No, not theoretical. I call it, there's a technical teaching term. They're lower order cognitive questions. I don't know how to translate that into English. It means that basically you're going to be asked to remember things that you read. We're talking about, basically. U.S. Vishnu to bang quietly or somewhere else. So you can start, you'll have this week and you can study. Anything else? Any questions?
The test will only be on the 10, 11, and 12.
10, 11, and 12, 13, and 14. And but 13, the next chapter is just basically goes over this parts of this chapter. And not only is it 10, 6 through 6 onward, 6 to 14. But a lot of the chapters are short. That means it's from page 53 to page 118. So 65 pages. Yes. Say that again? Oh, one of the questions.
Yes. So is there going to be the question about the expenses also?
Huh? Huh? What?
Is it going to be, you are still like the person, like the...
No speaker English.
He's asking if you have to memorize
How would I know? I am nothing. I am Kartahamiti Manyate. I think that I am the doer or the maker. I'm certainly bewildered by false ego. How could I? Who am I? I am nothing. If you memorize the 10 fences, could there possibly be a loss for you? Huh? You'll see. Any other questions? But it's not fair to ask. Are you going to ask on this? But it's on a simple memory level, basically. The question. No questions? Okay. The first, or the 54th item, and these, I don't have much to say in addition to these over here. What Prabhupada and Rupa Goswami have said here. Hearing the revealed scriptures, any book which teaches us how to advance in devotional service and bhakti. This is Shastra. There's some other definitions here. Madhavacharya has saying that Ramayana, Mahabharata, Puranas, Upanishads, Vedanta. One time, this is only very indirectly connected. One time I was preaching in Singapore. I was all alone. This was in 1974 or something. And somehow or another, I went to an astrologer, and he said, "Be careful on this such and such date." Which was about a week and a half away. So, and it also happened to be that date was an Ekadasi. So I thought, I know what I'm going to. There was a local Sanatana Dharma temple in Singapore. So I went to the Sanatana Dharma temple and I decided I'm just going to chant, since something horrible is going to happen. I'm just going to chant and chant and chant and not go out of the temple all day long. So I was chanting, I went into the temple and I was chanting and chanting. I chanted so many rounds in the temple. Everything seemed very peaceful, nothing horrible happened. And suddenly I saw the priest of the temple. So he walked over, said Hare Krishna, said Hare Krishna. And then out of nowhere, he started blaspheming Rupa Goswami, Lord Chaitanya. First he started blaspheming Lord Chaitanya. And then I said that Rupa Goswami says, Namo Mahabharanaya Krishna Prema Pradiyate. And then he started blaspheming Rupa Goswami. And then I said there is so in the Bhagavatam. Then he started blaspheming the Bhagavatam. And everything. He said he was so blasphemous. So something horrible happened that day. Of course I just walked out of the temple. I could have cut off his tongue, or I could have killed myself. But I walked out of the temple and said I could have killed him. But I walked out of the temple. He started saying that we only believe, these people believe only in the 4 Vedas. But actually in the Vedas themselves, they mention the Bhagavatam. In the Upanishads, in the Puranas, everywhere it is mentioned. The Bhagavatam and these other Vedas. But there are some very smarter type of Brahmanas who will only accept the 4 Vedas. Any across them? These people? Yes, you have? Where? South Africa. We don't deal with them. They're nasty people. So, the 5th Veda, the Bhagavatam clearly says the 5th Veda is the Mahabharata and Puranic literatures, because Vyasadeva himself has compiled these. And this information is given in the 1st canto of the Bhagavatam. Maybe I can't remember exactly what chapter, I think the 4th chapter of the 1st canto of the Bhagavatam. How Vyasadeva has compiled, because he wasn't feeling satisfied. He had compiled all the different Vedic literatures, and yet he wasn't feeling satisfied. Why? He was thinking, maybe it's because I haven't directly glorified Krishna. Because in the Vedas, there is mostly an explanation of Karma Kanda. And then, in the Upanishads, the remainder of the Vedas, it speaks about Krishna indirectly. And only Krishna is mentioned directly. Very few places, Krishna, the son of Devaki, like this. So the great Acharya, so he wasn't feeling satisfied. Because Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga, Yaniyat Yasu, no, wrong verse. Yayapma Suprasidati. What verse is that? Svaipam Sam Paro Dharmo Yatya Bhakti Hojite. Ahaitikya Pratiyata Yayapma Suprasidati. So one actually, the only thing that can satisfy a soul is when his heart is completely one with Krishna in desire. And he's fully engaged. and pure devotional service, when he has taken shelter of the internal energy of Krishna. So all these literatures, so Vyasadeva wasn't feeling satisfied by Krishna's arrangement. He wasn't feeling satisfied, and he understood, he had an intuition as to why he wasn't feeling satisfied, and Narada Muni confirmed it. His Guru Maharaj came to him and he confirmed, the problem is that you have glorified these other paths and not directly spoken about Krishna and the process of attaining Krishna. And then Vyasadeva, after Narada Muni left, he sat down in meditation. He concentrated his consciousness on Krishna in devotional service, and then he had a full realization of Krishna, of Maya, of the avatars, of all the living entities, everything. He saw everything. And then after his mature realization of these things, Loka Janata Vidvam Chakre Savita Samita. That then at that time Vyasadeva compiled, because the people in general, Anartha Upasamam Vidvam Bhakti Yoga Hokshaje, that the mass of people do not have knowledge that all the miseries that are in the heart, which are anarthas, all the miseries, all the sinful reactions that we carry, the misery that we feel can be removed by Bhakti Yoga to Adhokshaji, the Supreme Lord. And because the people don't know this, then Vyasadeva compiled the Satvita Samhita, or the Srimad Bhagavatam. Because by this Bhagavatam, Puranarko Dunaditaha, that by this Bhagavatam, people in this age of Kali will get light. This Kali Yuga is darkness personified. It is dark. It is heavy, and it is getting worse every day. The leaders are corrupt, and then people lose their faith in the leaders, and then they do whatever they want. And their response to the corruption of the leaders is worse than the corruption of the leaders, or just as bad. No authority, everyone just does whatever they like. And Kali Yuga just goes down and down, and degradation increases. So Puranarko Vinoditaha. Kalo Nasadrishamesha Puranarko Vinoditaha. That people will get light from the Bhagavatam, and all literatures and pursuance of the Bhagavatam, they also give light in Kali Yuga, that do not conflict with the Bhagavatam, that enliven the soul in devotional service. This analogy, well, not the analogy, but in I think it is in Padma Purana, and Narottama Das Thakur stated it, also in Prem Bhakti Chandrika, Om Agyana Timirandasya Jana Jana Salakaya Chaksu Sanmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Guru Namaha. That we are born in darkness. This Kali Yuga is darkness. And people are wandering through their darkness to the moment of their death. And our Guru Maharaj has forced our eyes open with the light of transcendental knowledge. And that light is carrying from Bhagavatam. So hearing these scriptures is one of the main angas, especially Srimad Bhagavatam is one of the main, and actually, practically speaking, out of the 10 that are mentioned in this chapter, 5 of them are in the next chapter, repeated again as the 5 most potent forms of devotional service. They're so powerful. So we'll be speaking about these 5 today and also in our next class. So hearing the revealed scriptures, especially Srimad Bhagavatam. Shushusho Shadadanasya Vasudeva Kataru Shishyan Mahasevaya Vipro Punya Tirthana Sevaran. That this is the result of the service, gaining an attachment to hearing Bhagavatam and Shastra. And that very quickly affects the heart. 55. Residing in Mathura. Vrahadev tells the residents of earth any person who becomes attached to places other than Mathura will certainly be captured by the illusory energy. So Mathura means Mathura Vrindavan, and it means Navadip, Mayapur. Not just Mathura, where one time I was speaking to an old shopkeeper when I first came to Vrindavan, and he said, we were talking about something, and he said that I have vowed never to leave Vrindavan. I will not even go to Mathura, he said. So I said, why won't you go to Mathura? He said, why should I go to Kamsa's place? That was his spirit. So actually, this place of Braja, it is mentioned by, all of it is glorious. Every square inch is glorious. Every place, there were billions and billions and billions of pastimes in the place. Everywhere is holy. Pastimes of Krishna. And he's the king of all holy places, Braj. And therefore all the holy places have their place here. There is Badarik Ashram, there is so many places. A place where Lanka is to a place where the monkeys built a bridge. What other places are in Braja? Ambikavan, so many places. So even, and Prabodhananda Saraswati is famous for saying, I don't care, I'm not leaving Braja, no matter what. Even if the residents of Vrindavan speak so much garbage, I'm not leaving Vrindavan. So it is said that Vaikuntha is the highest, better than Vaikuntha is Goloka, better than Goloka is Mathura, better than Mathura is Vrindavan, because Krishna's Rasa Leela pastimes happen in Vrindavan. Better than Vrindavan is where? Govardhan, and better than Govardhan is Radhakund. And because Radhakund and Shyamakund, the most intimate midday pastimes of Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna Shyamasundar occurred at Radhakund. There's actually in different books there's descriptions of what Radhakund actually looks like. It's huge and covered with jewels and different segments. Different parts are different colors with different trees of different colors, and it's so incredible. Just by touching the land of Mathura. And Prabhupada explains in the Krishna book that even if a non-devotee comes to Vrindavan, they feel separation from Krishna. How potent. And I know when you come from the West, my experience is when you land in Delhi, even though we usually come back in July, and you're hitting a wall of heat, warm, humid heat, and you get knocked out almost by it. But still, it's such a relief to be in India from the West. But Delhi is so hilly and smelly. So you get out of the airport and you're driving, and finally you're out of the city and out into the countryside. It's so peaceful and it's such a relief. And then slowly, an hour from Vrindavan at Koshi, at Sheshayi, on the road, you hit Braja, and suddenly the atmosphere gets sweeter. Sweet. And then you turn, you're going for an hour, and then you turn down Bhaktivinoda Swami Mars, the peacocks. Everything is there. So how wonderful. Prabhupada said, to live in Vrindavan, there's a famous quote when he was talking about the Gurukula. To live in Vrindavan is the greatest fortune, to grow up in Vrindavan is the greatest blessing. So fortunate. So Prabhupada yet left Vrindavan to preach. So the devotees leave Vrindavan to preach. That is the only reason why they leave Vrindavan. And when they do leave Vrindavan, they leave their heart in Vrindavan. And they have to come back every now and then to put their heart back in their body, get their body and soul connected again, and then they go out for preaching. And that's what Prabhupada wanted. He didn't want everyone just to sit in Vrindavan, but he wanted the International Society for Krishna Consciousness to manifest Vrindavan everywhere, new Vrindavan everywhere. And in Lalita Madhava by Rupa Goswami, Prabhupada didn't just concoct or manifest a new Vrindavan right there. So Krishna can again feel like he's in Vrindavan. So we should do that everywhere throughout the world. We should manifest Vrindavan. And how to do that? By pure devotional service. There's no other way. And Prabhupada, everywhere he went, he manifested Vrindavan. And it felt like Vrindavan. It felt completely different in his association. Completely different. I remember I had that experience when I traveled with him in 1976 when he left Australia. He went to Fiji, and then he went to Honolulu. He went to first New Zealand, then Fiji, then Honolulu. And I was fortunate enough to travel with him at that time. So I was with Prabhupada a lot. And then after that I went to Los Angeles, and then to Dallas, Texas. And there, for the first time in my life, I did deity worship to real deities, installed deities. Who knows the name of the deities in Dallas, Texas? Huh? Radha Kalachandji. What does Kalachandji mean? Yes. His face is like a black moon. So beautiful. Big and round. Like a moon. So the second I walked on the altar, without any prior thought, because the altar, the atmosphere was so powerful and sweet and surcharged, I immediately thought, this is just like being with Prabhupada. Because the exact same feeling was there as being with Radha Krishna Kalachandji and being with Srila Prabhupada. So what is the purport? And Krishna, Radha and Krishna certainly never take a step out of Vrindavan. So that Dham, the holy man's heart is Dham. And in that Dham is manifest their worshipable lords. Rendering service to the devotees. This is very, very important. This is even better than serving Krishna. It is the Kanista Adhikari, only the big beginner, the neophyte, who only sees Krishna. And this is a tendency. You worship the deities, love the deity. The devotees, get out of the way. I want to worship God. But Krishna, when out of love for Krishna, we also serve and worship the devotees. Krishna loves that. He accepts that worship as someone who actually understands. This is the mood of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Specifically this. Caring for the other Vaishnavas. Sometimes this does not occur in ISKCON, so it hasn't developed so much yet. But this is actually the mood. Tandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanivas Janame Hoy E Abhilas. Translation. Tandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanivas.
By serving the lotus feet and by staying within their association. And Janma Janme Hoy that birth after birth, let me have this desire.
This is the desire. Rottama, that Akora is praying like this, and all the devotees following the Rottama Das, they pray like this. This is my only desire. E Abhilas. Is Janame Hoy. Only this, birth after birth even, I just want to be in the association of devotees and servants. Bhakti Vinod Thakur said, I don't care where I may take my birth, long as it is in the house of the devotee. Even if it is an insect or something. I just want to have the association of devotees. So we should be very, 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 very careful when we call each other Prabhu. Prabhupada instituted this very early. But usually in ISKCON, when someone says, "Oh Prabhu," you know he's going to tell you to do something. "Oh Prabhu, can you please do that?" Or Prabhu doesn't mean my servant, it means my master. Why are you laughing like that? Some secret joke. So really we should think of each other as Prabhu. And then the temples, when the devotees are in that mood, appreciating how Krishna accepts so dearly, he appreciates the service that we do for the Vaishnavas more than the service that we do for him even. We're serving him by painting his fingernails yellow. With your yellow magic marker? No. Huh? Oh. So the verse, Aradhananam Savesham Vishnu Aradhanam Param. The meaning. Approximately meaning. Higher than the highest is worship of Tadiya, those things connected with Vishnu. Especially the Vaishnavas, the devotees. We should serve the devotees. We should serve the devotees without holding back. And then we will be so happy. Actually, we will be happy. And no one should think themselves the master of the devotees. Everyone should think themselves the servant of the devotees. So this is true for young devotees, old devotees, everyone. The more older a devotee is, the more he feels dependent on the servant of the Vaishnavas. Association, even our Acharya Hiranyakashipu has said, "My dear son," he is actually not our Acharya. I'm just testing to see if he had any followers here. But no one, certainly. "My dear son, association is very important. It acts just like a crystal stone which will reflect anything which is put before it. Similarly, if we associate with the flower-like devotees of the Lord, if our hearts are crystal clear, then certainly the same action will be there." What does it mean, our hearts are crystal clear?
Without envy?
Yes. Correct. Yes. What else? What else? Yes. Sincere. Without pride. Free from passion and ignorance. That is what I was thinking. But all these answers are good. The next 60... Oh, did I skip some? Yes. Oh, yes. I could not resist. Serving the Lord according to one's position. Very clear. According to what you have, you should give. If you give everything, it is very nice. Performing devotional service in Kartik. We are all going to be here during the month of Kartika. Kartika is very, very, very sweet, especially sweet in Vrindavan. And this Purushottama Mas, this is a very special preacher training semester because we are going to be here during Purushottama Mas also. The month of Purushottam, which comes every 4 years, the leap year. All the benefits of Kartik are available in Purushottama Mas. But there's one difference, that in Kartik if you commit offenses, you get reactions. But in Purushottama Mas, Vrindavan becomes like Mayapur. No offenses. So of course that doesn't mean we should take advantage. Prabhu, I hate you. Kartik, because it is also called the month of Damodar, and that pastime took place. I think so. But the presiding deity of the month of Kartik is Srimati Radharani. She is called Kartikeya. There's a nice name, the Queen of Kartik, she is called. You'll see everything, how sweet Kartik is. And during that time we should all make vows of something that we should do extra. Some devotees chant extra rounds, some devotees don't eat past a certain time, some devotees eat once a day, some devotees walk around Vrindavan every day, some devotees, I don't know. Anyway, these vows we should make nice vows. I think it's the 17th or the 18th in a few days. Huh? Yes, in a few days only. And then the Chaturmas is interrupted during that time. It's not Chaturmas during that time.
Is it the Purushottam is more special?
I just told you why. But Srimati Radharani is queen of Kartik. Some devotees do Dandavat Prakram around Vrindavan in Kartik. Not every day. It takes 19 hours approximately to do Dandavat Prakram around Vrindavan. So if you did that every day, it would be wonderful. You will do. You'll take that as your vow. 19 hours of Dandavats. Huh? Some people do it 2 times a day. But that doesn't help me very much if people are so devoted. So we should take some. It's so nice, these quotes are so nice. It's a nice place to. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would come to Braja in Kartik usually. Or sometimes, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. This Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur sometimes would come during Kartik. 59. Observing festivals celebrating the Lord's activities. Very clear. Serving the deity with great devotion. Again, Bhakti Paritam Asnami Patatmana. That Krishna has the interest in the devotion. So we should engage in nice activities with the deities with devotion. Which, I would like everyone to think a moment and tell me which deities are you most attached to in the world? Radharanath in Durban. Radha Shyama Radha Golokananda in Mauritius. Anyone else? Yeah? Krishna Kali in Fiji. I was there at the Cornerstone Lane, I told them. Any other deities devotees are attached to? So how does one become attached to a deity? So do some service. What kind of service did you do? Any service. Do some service for the deities. You can ask, can I do some service? To chant, to offer prayers before the deities. Pray. I'm so unfortunate, I have no attachment. Please give me some mercy. last year during after Gopurnima, some devotees came from Iran. I don't know how many. Have any of you ever met the devotees from Iran? There's a group of devotees. That one devotee named Mahaprabhu Das. He was the devotee who preached there. You met him? Other devotees. But anyway, these devotees are so very nice. As far as I've seen, they're very cultured, very intelligent, very high-class people. Very, very, very nice. Yeah? Especially nice. So one time, one of the devotees brought, because I was giving some class, Bhagavad Gita class or something in the evenings last year. So after the class, there was one Mataji, 40 years old. She came, couldn't speak any English, and one of the other devotees was translating. And because these people were all born in Muslim families, so she said she could not relate to the deity. Somehow or another, that conditioning, because in Islam, they really don't like deity worship. In fact, their temples, there's nothing in their temple practically. Actually, there is nothing in the temple. They're against, and you can see why they got this idea, because you shouldn't speculate on the form of God, and all they could do is speculate, so therefore God has no form. This is what they're thinking. So, she had it in her heart that it was very bad. She could not surrender. She couldn't conceive of relate to the deity. So she was telling me this and asked me what to do. So Krishna gave me some inspiration that I told her to go in front of Krishna and Balaram and just stand there and pray to Krishna and Balaram and explain everything to them. Just stay there a long time. And you see, and you tell me, first of all, if you think it is ordinary. Is the feeling that you get standing in front of the deities the same as anywhere else? But just pray and explain everything to Balaram, and tell Balaram especially that I can't do anything about this, you please help me. So this going before the deity with that devotion, this lady was so pious, so pure-hearted actually. So immediately it was taken away. That problem was taken away from her. Because the problem only existed in the mind. Because out of fear, due to these previous religious teachings, there was a fear that had stuck in her mind. She had to learn how to listen to her heart, and let her heart defeat the mind. And it was so easy by the mercy of Krishna and Balaram. Immediately it went away. So this is the power of approaching the deities with devotion. Yeyatam mam papajante, Krishna reciprocates. This is Krishna's special mercy, the deity. Because we cannot see him directly because we are not pure. So he takes this form of the deity, Aksha Vigraha, and he reciprocates with us through the form of the deity. So it's such an opportunity. And it's so easy to love Krishna, Balaram, Gauranitai, Radha Sundar, Lalita, Vishaka. It's so easy to love the deities because they're so beautiful. So try to do some service to the deities. That's why they're here. Recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam amongst devotees. So there's a long, not so long, explanation of this. So hearing the revealed scriptures was one, but here recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam is special because Bhagavatam is Amalaparam, and in the Bhagavatam, Dharma Kaitava Projita, all other lesser forms of religion other than devotional service are kicked out. Nothing is glorified except pure devotional service. So the Bhagavatam is very special. So we should hear it from the beginning, and we should hear it to the end. Prabhupada, he gave us the 10th canto of Bhagavatam so early. In 1970, it was printed. In 1970, I was in Japan. when it was printed. It's Krishna book, volume 1. Prabhupada wanted to do that. That means, and ISKCON had only been going a few years, and he was only up to the second canto. Not even. The second canto hadn't been printed yet of the Bhagavatam, and yet he gave us the 10th canto, but in a form with built-in purports, practically speaking, so no one can misunderstand. But without knowing the pastimes of Krishna, we cannot advance very much. Because Krishna came specifically to attract us with his Nara Lila. His Lila, which was just like a human being, except it was very special. But he came to attract us. Because we're all looking for that association. We are looking for Krishna in this world. But we are looking in the wrong place. We look for a friend, a lover, perfect child. But we should look to Krishna for all these things. Perfect master. We should look only to Krishna. And the Bhagavatam teaches this, especially the 10th canto. Who knows the 10 categories of the Bhagavatam? Raise your hand. What is the first one? Narottam. Sarga. What is Sarga? Creation. Next category. What is Visarga? Destruction, annihilation. Third category. What is Sthanam? Maintenance. Fourth category. You're looking in your notes. No. Poshanam. What is Poshanam? Mercy. Whose mercy? Krishna's mercy. The Lord's mercy. Fifth. That's 6. Manvantara, the different Manvantaras. 6, Uti. What is 6? What is Uti? The different drives of the living entity. Like in the story of Ajamil, etc. That push drives, forces that push the living entity, motives, things like that. 7. Ishanu Kata. Speaking about love. I mean, different avatars in its different descents. 8. Nirodha. What's Nirodha? Yoga Nidra, or the annihilation, dissolution. And 9. Everyone should remember 9 because it takes shelter of 10. Mukti. And 10 is Krishna. These are the 10 topics. It's not necessary to know this for the test. So the Bhagavatam is really meant, the 9 categories are presented to bring us to the point of being able to understand the 10th category, which is Krishna, which is presented in the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam. Bolo.
And this is connected with this 10 categories. Because I heard that this Visarga is referring to second creation, Brahma's creation.
Secondary creation.
Yeah.
What's the question? Are these the cantos?
No, not only I heard that this Krishna quoted that he referred to annihilation in Visarga, so therefore I asked to clarify this.
What? I can't understand.
I have such understanding that Visarga is secondary creation.
Yes, I think that's correct.
I have heard that this refers to annihilation, therefore I asked him. So now my doubts are solved.
How are they solved?
Because you're confused that this refers to secondary creation.
When? Just now?
Yeah.
Oh. I did it unconsciously. I thought you said Saga.
No, Visarga.
I'll find out. I think you may be right, but I'm not. But it's dissolution. I'll find out.
Is there correspondence between
No. I just asked this morning that question.
This is referring to this Sangha which we spoke today, hearing of the scriptures. It's such definition that any book which gives enlightenment to the matter of advancing in devotional service is considered to be really spiritual. Do you explain this because this seems that this is, such
very liberal,
subjective. One can what can be a big scripture for someone can be not a big scripture.
I'm not sure exactly what Rupa Goswami's exact quote was in that. I could find out. But the idea that anything that gives birth to bhakti, that helps us in bhakti, must contain bhakti. So one could say that someone can write something sentimental, another person can increase his bhakti by it. But it's not actually increasing his bhakti. It's objective, what's happening. But something written in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, exactly in the line with no defect, encourages people to know what from the Shastra.
Yesterday we were discussing about Nishtha Yoga and for devotional service. So where are they situated on Ramshada to Krishna? Where are they? Where is Nishtha?
Different system of analysis.
But can you see
I'd have to think about it. But it's completely different analysis. Anartha before Nishtha, certainly. Okay, let's finish. So we spoke about Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavatam, Nasta Prayesha Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamasloke, etc. So we'll speak about Bhagavatam more in the next chapter. Associating with advanced devotees, so they're serving the devotees. So notice that this is a separate one. We shouldn't only serve the quote advanced devotees, we should serve all devotees, but we should also especially associate with advanced devotees. Very, very nice. We read that. Chanting the holy name of the Lord. This is the main anga of bhakti. Kalona stevana stevana steva. Very good. Works. This association, chanting the holy name, Nama Chintamani Krishna, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, Pona Shuddha Nitya Mukta, Abhinatvam Nama Nama. That the holy name, it is Chintamani. The holy name of Krishna is capable of giving everything. Bhaktivinoda Thakur especially has explained that it can give everything just by the power of the holy name. It is Purno Shuddho Nitya Mukto. It is complete because it is Krishna. It is Shuddho. It is completely pure. It has nothing to do with the material world. Nitya, it is eternal, and Mukto, it is completely liberated. Again, having nothing to do with the material world. Abhinatvam Nama Nama Nama. There's no difference between the name and the possessor of the name. Krishna is no different from Krishna. The name of Krishna is no different from the person Krishna. And if we are pure and chant in love, we will actually experience this. This is the main anga of bhakti, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu especially spread this. One question was raised on page 107. In the Padma Purana also it is stated the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra is present only on the lips of a person who has for many births worshipped Vasudeva. The question can be is why will someone who is worshipping Vishnu or Vasudeva take many births? And the answer is that Krishna very kindly, Jiva Goswami answers this, Krishna very kindly allows the devotee to take many births to just simply increase the devotee's hankering and love within his heart. This is a special mercy. So the devotee may take births, but it is Krishna's special mercy to allow him to increase his deep hankering. And that's the actual purpose of the material world. So the sadhaka can raise himself to the highest levels of prema. Not to the highest levels of prema, because that doesn't exactly happen in the material world, but he can raise himself, become perfect in his Krishna consciousness. And for that purpose, Krishna gives us these bodies, a devotee body. And then finally, again, living in Mathura, not exactly, again, I was trying to understand the difference between residing in Mathura and living in Mathura. Did anyone have that question? So, in Sanskrit, this is Mathura Mandala Sthiti. Sthiti means to actually be situated there, to stay there, fixed there. So this is living. To actually stay here. And residing in Mathura seems to speak more, it's coming and visiting more, like that, touching the land of Mathura, coming on pilgrimage, something like that more. So most of these, 5 of these potent forms of devotional service, Rupa Goswami is now going to explain how powerful and wonderful they are. Questions? Medicine. Okay.
What is the reference you gave about Nama?
Where is it from? One of the Puranas, maybe Padma Purana. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has therefore called this book Harinam Chintamani.
So, okay, you might have to get it first.
There, Chaitanya Charitamrita too, and that book is there. Question.
Since you're chanting of Hare Krishna mantra is personal, that's the person who is worshiping prostrates and realize, does it mean pure chanting or just wondering, does it refer to pure chanting? Or also chanting Namalas or Namavira?
It means that it's not an ordinary thing. This is why we serve the devotees. This is why we serve the devotees. Even though familiarity breeds contempt, and we sit together, we talk together, we see each other's faults, but actually a devotee is very rare. It takes much for the sanskar or previous pious activities and impressions to become a devotee. Join the movement, to be wearing tilak, kantimala, come to Vrindavan. It is not an ordinary thing. So we realize if we could only see, not that this is the best vision, but it's like a long line out. You know, there's this one picture in the Bhagavad Gita of the steps going up to Krishna, and then there's the steps down. So actually, compared to the number of souls, how few, even compared to the number of humans, how few devotees of any level. And this world is a very horrible place. So when we're with the devotees, we're with our family, really. And it's such rare, it's so rare. Just like Navadvip Prabhu, he went up, he was studying Hindi. He really wanted to study Hindi. You know Navadvip? Very nice devotees teaching the Guru, very Mahabhuti. Huh? He knows the Bhagavad Gita, he knows the Bhagavatam. Not by heart, but he's brilliant. But a lot of it. He really wanted to learn Hindi. So he went to Dehradun, which was a very good Hindi school, Missouri, actually near the foothills of the Himalayas. And he wanted to spend a year there. But after a few months he just came back. He couldn't stay away from the devotees. So I always, just, not that I've exactly read it anywhere, but from my experience, perceive that when Krishna wants to give you mercy, he gives it in two ways. One is through association, basically, and the other is through an engagement, a service, where you can really, don't write that down, it's just spurring on speculation.
Realization.
But when you get a service that you can really put your whole heart into, it's really Krishna's special mercy. And when you get real good association, it's Krishna's special mercy. And when you come to Vrindavan, it's Krishna's special mercy. Last question. And then when Krishna takes everything away, that's Krishna's special mercy. That's his special mercy. Because you have nowhere to go. And this one, when you have too much service, it depends. It depends how you mean it. If it's actually beyond the person's capacity, he should do something about it. It shouldn't be sentimental like that. But you should. Sometimes we have to do things way beyond our capacity for some time, though. We're asked by Krishna to do that, and if we take shelter of him, we become able. But we shouldn't be sentimental with it. Because we've seen devotees romantically try and do things like that, and then
Still, you always find in every temple a few devotees doing most of the work.
Why are you saying but still?
Because not everyone desires the mercies the same way.
See, if we think like that, then immediately we start thinking, look at these devotees, they're not doing very much.
Looking at like some devotees who are very surrendered.
Yes, right. We should look at that. We should be careful of being critical of the others. Because it's hard to know what another person is going through. We should be considerate. And sometimes the temple management has to do that job. Has to be critical and push to, criticize a little bit. But if that isn't our service, even though it's easier to say this than to do this, but we should see, that's one thing that we have to learn not to do. Just like when someone is living outside the temple, and then he comes to the temple and he does a little service, everyone loves him and compliments him, and everyone sees what he is doing. Then he moves in the temple and everyone sees what he's not doing. And then the people get confused sometimes. Hey, wait, everyone used to like me and now everyone hates me. Everyone used to say how sincere I was, and now they're saying what a bum I am. So we have to be a little careful, because it's hard to know what a person is going through too, and what he'll do in the future. And it's hard. We shouldn't take that position unless it's our position to take that position. You know what I mean? Because no one likes to be on the other end of that, and everyone's concept of themselves what they are doing is different from other people's concept of what I am doing. My thinking about what I'm doing is very different from what everyone else is thinking what I'm doing. So the general rule is we should be liberal when judging others, and if we want to be harsh on someone, let us be harsh on ourselves, but not too harsh. Not that this is what you were implying, but I thought I'd take the opportunity.
I just noticed that everywhere I've been, there's always a few different attitudes.
We have to be intelligent. There are two kinds of runners. There's the 100-meter dash runner, 100-yard dash, and he runs and he's finished. And then there's the long-distance runner. Which should we be? We want to finish the race. But if our Guru Maharaj tells us to do something that's very, very, very heavy, we can speak to him. But sometimes we have to do it anyway, even though it appears to be more than we can handle. But we should generally run the race. Not that we shouldn't work hard, but we should run the race to be alive at the end. This is what I... But how to do that, we don't just make up our own way. We always hear and chant, keep good association, avoid the offenses, and if we think we have some realizations about what we should do, we should consult with people we trust. Not that we make up our own program how we're going to be there at the end.